Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This is where we really try to cut through the noise and find those real nuggets of wisdom in compelling ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And today we're diving into a leadership approach that honestly seems almost too simple, but it's incredibly powerful. We're talking about the 1-minute manager.
That's right. Our source material for this deep dive comes from key excerpts of the book, The 1-Minute Manager, Leadership Simplified. It's a real classic.
It really is.
It's helped, countless people rethink how they manage and lead.
So our mission today is basically to pull out the core ideas from this book. We want to show you how just a few really quick 1-minute techniques can actually make a big difference.
A huge difference in productivity, in team morale.
And in genuinely empowering your team. So if you're a manager, maybe you're a team lead, or just anyone trying to get better at working with people.
This is definitely for you.
Absolutely. Okay, let's set the scene a bit. The book starts with this story, right? This young manager, he's ambitious, but also kind of frustrated.
Yeah, he's on this quest, basically, searching for a management style that actually works.
We've all been there, haven't we? That feeling of, how do I really lead people, not just tell them what to do.
Exactly. Supervising versus leading. He feels like he's pushing uphill, trying all the latest fads.
And nothing's really sticking.
Right. Until he meets this 1-minute manager and learns these 3 techniques. They sound simple, but they're powerful.
And they promise to cut through all that complexity.
That's the core idea, finding what truly works, what moves the needle without overcomplicating things.
Okay, let's unpack the first one then. The first secret is 1-minute goals.
Mm-hmm.
Now, goal setting. It can be such a drag sometimes, can't it? Long meetings, dense documents.
Oh, definitely. We've all seen those.
So what makes this 1-minute approach different? Why is it supposedly so effective, especially now when everything moves so fast?
Well, the brilliance is really in the clarity and maybe surprisingly the brevity.
Brevity, okay.
Yeah, each goal should ideally be written down in 250 words or less, something you can read in about a minute.
Huh. Okay, why so short?
It's not just arbitrary. It kind of forces you to focus. It reduces the mental load, makes the goal much easier to remember, easier to act on, less overwhelming.
Right, less room for confusion.
Exactly. And the idea is that both the manager and the employee look at these goals often, like daily even. It keeps them top of mind. It aligns with how we remember things best. Simple, concrete ideas stick.
So instead of something vague like, do better this quarter.
Which means almost nothing, really.
Right. A 1-minute goal would be super specific, like increase customer retention by 10% using those personalized follow-up emails we talked about.
Perfect example. You know exactly what success looks like. Zero ambiguity.
And everyone's on the same page instantly.
And the book stresses focusing on the key results. What's the most important thing? The employee needs to feel like they own that goal.
So it's less about the manager dictating how to do it.
And more about clarifying what needs to be achieved. Let them figure out the path, but make the destination crystal clear.
That makes sense. It's empowerment through communication, not control.
Precisely. That simplicity lets everyone just grasp what's needed fast.
Okay, so clear goals, check. But what about motivation? Keeping people engaged. That leads us to the second technique, right?
Yeah.
1-minute praisings.
Yes. And this one, it sounds almost too simple, but it's so impactful.
Catching people doing something right.
Exactly. Not waiting for the annual review or even the end of the project. You see someone doing good work, you tell them. Right then, right there.
Instant feedback.
Instant and specific. It's designed to reinforce that positive behavior immediately. Boosts morale, builds confidence. It directly links their action to positive recognition.
I can see that. That praise in the moment idea. I remember getting a quick, specific compliment right after a tough presentation once.
And it stuck with you, right?
Absolutely. Way more than some generic comment in a review months later. Why is that immediacy so crucial, though?
Well, it's about how our brains work, really. We're wired for immediate feedback. The closer the praise is to the action, the stronger the mental connection. Delay it, and that link weakens.
Okay, but here's a practical question. Managers are busy. How do you actually find the time to stop and do this constantly? Doesn't it feel a bit forced?
That's a fair point, but the key is in the name. 1 minute. It's not a meeting. It's intended to be brief.
Just a quick stop by.
Yeah, maybe 15, 30 seconds. You walk past someone's desk, you notice something great on their screen. You just say, hey, that email you sent to the client, really clear, handled their concern perfectly.
So it's about being present, being observant.
Exactly. Not scheduling praise, but noticing it. And it ties back to that core philosophy. People who feel good about themselves produce good results.
Right.
The manager's job becomes less about just overseeing tasks and more about actively supporting and appreciating people. And honestly, that builds self-starters, which saves time in the long run.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So we have clear goals. We have immediate praise for good work.
Yeah.
But what about when things go wrong? Mistakes happen.
They inevitably do.
And that's where the third technique comes in. 1-minute reprimands. Which, let's be honest, sounds a bit intense.
It can sound that way, but the approach is actually quite different from traditional criticism. It's not about dressing someone down.
Okay, how so?
It's about addressing the mistake quickly and specifically. Again, immediacy is key. Don't let issues fester or build up into a big, dreaded meeting.
Deal with it right away.
Right away. Be honest about the mistake. Be clear about the standard that wasn't met. And this is crucial, you separate the behavior from the person's value.
Okay. So you criticize the action, not the person.
Exactly. You make it clear that you still value them, that you believe in them, but that this specific behavior needs to change.
The book has that line, doesn't it? Something like, what you did wasn't up to our standard. I know you're better than that. Let's not repeat it.
Yeah, something along those lines. It's direct, but it also contains that element of reaffirming their capability. It's not a personal attack.
So it avoids that lengthy, often demotivating performance review conversation.
Right.
Where you dredge up things from months ago.
Right. It's real-time course correction, delivered with, hopefully, emotional maturity.
But couldn't that still feel a bit formulaic?
Yeah.
Or maybe even trigger defensiveness if you just launch into it, especially if someone's already feeling down about the mistake.
That's where the manager's delivery and empathy are absolutely critical. It's definitely not a script to be read like a robot.
Okay.
The 1 minute is about being focused and brief. You state the issue clearly, maybe express how it impacted things like, I felt frustrated when the report was late because, then you listen to their side briefly.
And
then, importantly, you end on that positive note. You reaffirm their value. I know this isn't typical for you. I believe in your abilities. Let's make sure this doesn't happen again. The focus is on learning and moving forward, not dwelling on the mistake or making someone feel terrible.
So it preserves trust, ideally.
That's the goal. Quick correction, maintain the relationship, help them recover, and learn fast.
Okay, so we've got these 3 techniques. Goals, praisings, reprimands. All done quickly, all focused.
Yeah.
If we zoom out, what's the big idea holding all this together? The core philosophy.
It really comes back to that statement we mentioned. People who feel good about themselves produce good results.
It sounds simple, almost like a platitude, but you're saying it's the actual operating principle here.
Absolutely. The thinking is traditional management, especially micromanagement, often erodes confidence. It makes people second-guess themselves.
Yeah, it can be stifling.
Whereas these quick, focused, 1-minute interactions are designed to systematically build confidence. Clear goals give direction. Praise reinforces competence, and even the reprimand done right reaffirms underlying value.
So it fosters intrinsic motivation. People feel trusted, capable.
And they perform better as a result. It's about choosing simplicity, clarity, and immediacy over complex control systems. Empowerment grows from that trust and communication.
The manager's role shifts then.
Yeah.
Less controller, more. Supporter, guide.
Exactly. Support, guide, appreciate. Foster that self-worth, because that's what drives the best results.
So maybe the deepest lesson here isn't just about saving time with 1-minute actions. It's about managing the person with real intention, building their confidence bit by bit, minute by minute.
Beautifully put. It's fundamentally human-centric leadership. It respects people's time, yes, but more importantly, it respects their potential.
Okay, let's try and boil this down. Final takeaways for everyone listening based on our deep dive into the 1-minute manager. What are the essentials?
All right. First, clarity is king. Set those expectations super clearly right from the start, using those concise 1-minute goals. Make sure people know exactly what good performance looks like.
Got it. Crystal clear goals. What's second?
Catch people doing something right. Reinforce good behavior immediately with specific, sincere 1-minute praisings. Don't wait.
Okay. Immediate, specific praise. And third,
when mistakes happen, address them quickly and specifically with a 1-minute reprimand. Focus on the behavior, not the person, and always, always reaffirm their value.
Yeah.
Correct with empathy.
Quick, specific, empathetic correction. And maybe wrapping it all up.
Remember the big picture. You're managing a person, not just a task list.
Manage the person, not just the task.
Yeah.
That feels like the most vital takeaway.
It underpins everything else, really.
So, thinking about putting this into action, maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to carry forward. What's just one small, 1-minute change you could make tomorrow?
Yeah, what's one thing you could do differently in one of those quick interactions?
That could genuinely boost someone's confidence and ultimately their contribution on your team. Something to think about.